folks. One of the Redneck Country Podcast. You're on with Real Redneck Todd Millard. And, of course, we've got the almost guy, Real Redneck Bill. Tom Bill, are you there?
I'm here, and it's a beautiful night for a podcast.
It's a beautiful night for a podcast. Getting a little cooler. And did you notice I did that in one breath?
You did, and I'm not surprised. I mean, it's you, and you talk fast, and you got it all geared up tonight and ready to go because we got a full house.
That's because I warmed them up before we went on air.
I'm all geared up. Yeah. Blood pressure's a little bit kicking.
I can hear the thumping it's through the microphone there. I'm not sure if that's you or your dad with the high blood pressure right now.
That's Jaws coming for him.
Yeah, I can't that.
Yeah. So, and as always, sitting beside me, getting my blood pressure up, as usual, is the patriarch of Redneck Country, my father, Real Redneck Todd Millard. Dad, is your mic hot?
It certainly is hot, and so is my caffeine-free chamomile tea in my Redneck Country podcast. Mr. Never Ready?
Good Lord.
Mr. Never Ready.
Is my chamomile.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I waited. I'm sitting here in the sunroom, got my blanket, my tea, and okay, I'm going to wait.
And I'm telling you, it's not me. I get the text, "Okay, Todd, I'm ready when you are." All right, let's go, Dad. Bill's ready. And as I say that and walk out the room, Jen says, "Will you take your gun and bag and that from," because we went to the gun club, "and take it downstairs so it's not in the vet?" "Yeah, I'll take it on my way down to the studio." I pick it up and turn around, and he's moving pillows on the couch. And I'm thinking, what's he doing? He's looking like, you know how when a cat is going to lay down and it's got to do that little puddings thing and get something ready?
He's nesting.
He's nesting on the cat. And all of a sudden, sure enough, he spins around and whoomp.
Yep, I've been here before. I saw him in the closet, and he didn't have anything in his hand yet. And I thought, why bother till he heads down?
Bill said he's ready. Are you coming? Now I got to wait 20 minutes for him to go,
no, he doesn't.
And get up off the couch.
No, he doesn't. I am spry as a fiddle, and I got down here and sat down and waited for 10 minutes for him to fire everything up and call you guys.
No, because then we had to go, can't hear anybody. My ears aren't working.
Never mind. Get on with the introductions.
You're missing somebody here, too. That's
yeah, we haven't got there yet because Dad's being rude. So we also have... I don't know if I want to introduce this because I'm not sure how this is going to go. This could go and even out the scales here, and you can come with me on this journey, or I'm going to be outnumbered. It's going to be one heck of a firecracker of a podcast. But without further ado, joining us once again is the Real Redneck, Tom. It is Bill's brother, which I figure is gonna that just automatically puts you on my side. Jay, is your mic hot? Are you there?
I'm here, and I've been listening, and I've been really enjoying the banter going back and forth.
Yeah, nobody enjoys that banter, but it is necessary.
Three sensible guys are sitting here with the Never Ready guy. It's finally evened out.
We'll see how much conversation we can still have with we
got Motormouth Jay on the line now. Holy jeez.
No, I'm not going to lie to you, Todd. I came on, and I've got maybe a little shot I'm going to take across the bow at each one of you today if I have opportunity. I've been listening to the podcast for the last couple of weeks, and I've been really chuckling to myself about some of the things you guys are talking about, between you always being ready. And if I recall correctly, at the one goose hunt I came to, I was standing at the door ready to go.
Careful where you go.
Let him talk.
And I'm pretty sure that the alarm didn't go off, and you came down running in a panic.
But on time.
That really made me chuckle. but I got something for each of you. So.
Well, and that's fine to say, but I ask you, was my trigger lock off my gun when we were in the field ready to start shooting geese?
This is why I'm ready for it. If I'm coming to take it, I'm coming to send it.
I was just clarifying because I thought my gun was ready.
This is true.
That problem has been remedied last Christmas past, because keys for trigger locks aren't the best thing for us Tom folk, because we have combinations on our trigger locks now, and that's all. But the worst part is, if I can ever remember my trigger lock combination, I'd have more guns to shoot, probably. So
I had to do that with my black powder muzzleloader, because twice I went to the stand and left the key trigger lock on the gun, and the keys were back in the truck.
I don't know. I think at some point at your age, there's a time to go back to keys, because forgetting the keys or losing the keys is not as prevalent as forgetting the combination to the lock.
Yeah.
Are you telling me that 1, 2, 3, 4 is not a good combination?
Yeah, that works for me.
Yeah.
Good answer. So we've got why do we have Jay on the line? Bill, did you want to go there?
Yeah, absolutely. We can go there. I mean, last podcast we ended off with a long-winded story about Todd's deer, and I think that took up most of the podcast. So we had to take even Monday, which is day 1, on to podcast number 2, which gave me an opportunity to put some thought together as to my time. But Monday really wasn't my day, so I thought I would extend the invite to Jay and see if he would be willing to come on and talk a little bit about his Monday, which was a whole lot more exciting than mine. So that's why we got my brother on the podcast today.
Rock and roll.
And the simple fact that he's here to throw a few shots across the bow your way, I'm all good with that too.
Oh, I'm pretty certain that he's locked and loaded on you as well.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I'm sure there's something there that I've forgotten.
Oh,
And
no
that's
doubt.
why I'm excited, because we're going to get the real story of what happened at the hunt camp now.
Yes, it was a good time was had by all.
You're right, though. A great time was had by all.
Yeah.
Right on. Okay, so last week we went through our Monday. So now let's head over to your camp. So ours was a controlled hunt, and it's antique rifle with muzzle loader only in our area. Now we're going to your area where you guys got high-powered rifles. And it's still a controlled hunt, though, for you guys, right?
Yeah. I don't know if you really want to call it the controlled hunt, but we have to get a draw for our area for the doe. But the controlled hunt is different because you only can hunt for that week. Like I have access to a controlled hunt here, and I can only hunt bucks during that week in my wildlife management unit. Up north, we put in for a doe tag, which is good for the entire season in that wildlife management unit, but we can only hunt with rifle for 2 weeks. So we take the first full week of November, and we're up there for the rifle hunt. So that's where we're going to start. And Jay, you should kick us off with a little bit about your trip up and some of the adventures and getting to the camp and that kind of what happened to you.
It started with a visit to the apple orchard.
Well, it absolutely did, because why wouldn't we go up with apples? I know you guys have talked about it, and I will give Bill a little credit. He did say it on a couple podcasts ago about, the reasons we use the big bin of apples is not just, because we want to see the deer, but it keeps them in the area, even if they eat them all in one sitting, which we know has happened in the past. But, getting the juices in the ground and what that's like a natural mineral block, so to speak, for us. But we have found a lot of success in it. But I would say that we came up on, I guess, Saturday afternoon, I think it was. We kind of hung out at the camp. I don't think we did much hunting. I think we took a couple shots on Saturday and just kind of came up with a game plan. And I know last week you talked about Sunday. We did some bow hunting in the evening. And if I recall correctly, just about all of us saw deer that evening, which was awesome. I had 2 deer. I think, Bill, you had, 5 or 6 come out to you. I think PJ had at least 1 or 2 come out to him. So, being that we were all hunting in so-called new areas, it was a really
You're feeling good. You're feeling positive because you're seeing deer.
Absolutely. And I'll say, I know Bill talked about his camera having 3,000 plus photos of leaves blowing. I actually had some really cool photos this year.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I downloaded the disc on when we came up Saturday or Sunday. And during one of the days between the Thanksgiving and the hunt, I had about an 11-minute photo session of 3 bucks fighting it out.
No doubt.
On camera. And it was really, really neat. We had, there was a spiker, there was a forkhorn, and then we had one deer that I nicknamed Ribs because he had half rack. He had a really nice 4 on one side, and he was missing the other half of his rack.
So how come none of these videos or pictures made it up on Redneck Country's Facebook page?
I don't know how to get them from my camera to my phone to that type of thing. That technology. They can do some things, but that was a lot for me.
Oh, serenity now. Okay, right, so pause, because
sure.
What I want to know is, because Bill's already said, he puts out a few apples here and a few apples there, but you put out a whole whack load. And so how much is a whack load? When you say you're taking apples, because I got the picture before you left, and
sure.
It was, do you dump all of those apples at your stand in one shot? Like Saturday, get out there and put them out?
Not this year. So typically when I hunt the usual area that we would hunt, that unfortunately we weren't allowed to hunt this year, I would take a large full orchard bin of apples, and between my spot and, TJ's spot, and, maybe Bill would put 2 or 3 of them out, but between myself and TJ, we'd put the entire bin of apples out pretty much at our spots.
It's a trailer. It's like a 4x6 trailer full.
How much you figured out weight?
Oh, I'm not sure, but I think it comes into, what do we say, about 10 full-size garbage cans worth of apples. if you want to, put it into that perspective, like we're talking, it's a lot. So, but I'm telling you, it works. It clearly works. So when I went up this year at Thanksgiving, we did all of our prep ahead of time. I didn't have the apples this year because I wasn't set on where I was going to hunt initially. So I put out some corn, and, of course that got the birds coming in and whatnot. But when I came up for the hunt this year, we brought a half bin this year, and I put a large portion of those out on, I guess, Saturday afternoon, just to get this moving, keep things in the area. And sure enough, by Sunday, again, like I said, we saw deer at our location. So it was a really good way to start the week off and feel positive about what the potentials could be. And seeing all the deer on camera was of course exciting. Unlike Bill's spot where he saw just doe and he was a little bit not feeling great about it, I had a lot of deer with antlers, and I was pretty excited about my territory I was hunting this year. So that was leading us into Monday, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, lots of activity. I mean, there was definitely potential there with half rack or ribs. We were looking to see that one on the pole this year, because we got a kind of a bunch of goofy genes in some of the deer up there. I don't know if it's too close to a mining community or what, but there's always either the no brow tines on most of the bucks that we shoot, which is weird.
That's that's just the genetics, right? So you're saying the gene pool, right?
It's goofy genetics up there, and there's always been some crazy racks that are, and not necessarily some are massive. You saw one my brother shot a couple years ago. It was 150 plus. That's no goofy genetics in that deer, that's for sure. But on camera there, when you see a deer with a half a rack, my curiosity says, is it broke, or is that the way it grew? Which what we know is in the area for genes.
So the deer are probably thinking the same thing when you guys hit the woods, right?
Yeah. We got some goofy mom genes, right?
We got some goofy genes up here.
So I would say that listening to last week's pod, I know, Todd, you and Bill were discussing scent control and getting ready for going out and all the things that, Todd, you do at the last minute to get ready. And I know Bill puts his bins away probably in June, get them all ready for the scent control, heaven forbid. So
I got stuff in the washing machine right now, actually.
Yeah.
For next year.
Exactly. I would like to tell you guys that made me laugh, because when it comes to scent control, a little bit of spray in a bottle is just good enough for me.
That's all you do. But you're shooting high-powered rifle, and how far are you reaching?
Well, I will say that, yes, that is true, but that's for the entire season, Todd. That's not just the rifle season. That's the bow season.
Bow season too.
Rifle season. My gear sits in the garage, and it's kind of laid out in the garage, and I put it on, and I go to the stand, and I spray that scent away stuff, and I see deer constantly. So I definitely believe in all of the crazy tactics you guys go into with the scent control. But I will also say that, yes, I have been winded. I've been busted by deer before. But I don't think it's to the extent that everybody goes to with the scent-free soaps and all these things. I'm just saying, maximize your possibilities. Sure. And I would agree with that. But I'll tell you, if you put a whole bunch of apples in the bush, it outweighs the smell that I've got.
Yeah. Good answer. Good answer, Joe.
Yeah. So, and then the other thing, I know you guys talked last week, Don, your pack that you take with you in the 9 million things it sounds like that you put in your pack. I had a good chuckle about that. My pack probably has more snacks than anything else. But I don't really carry a big pack in the bush. I know Bill brings his, heater bodysuit and all these things. And I'm wondering if he's going away for a month with all the stuff that you guys carry.
Right?
But when I get lost, I need to be comfortable. I'm one step starting a fire and putting a house up.
My pack has a couple of glow sticks, so that if we happen to shoot a deer and need to follow a blood trail, I got these glow sticks that I can put down.
Is that what you do when you're following a blood trail? You drop glow sticks at the last spot you found blood?
If we need to and it's getting dark, I have them available. Glow sticks are very visible. I know we've got our little blinker lights that Bill talked about for bikes and things, but glow sticks are relatively inexpensive, so I keep those in my pack.
And you feel like Rambo when you're out there.
They're perfect. I've got those. I've got usually an extra pair of gloves in case it rains. I've always got my binos and rangefinder just in case, but my pack
drops them at the bottom of your tree stand.
Or I drop them at the bottom of a tree stand, absolutely. But my pack is pretty lightweight, and I know that Bill talks about his pee bottle. I don't even bring that with me. I don't need that. I laugh about all the things that he puts in his pack and all these things, and I don't know what he needs it all for. Most of it.
When you gotta go, you gotta go. I'm not. I don't want to hold it for a week. I have to actually go. So that's what the pee bottle's for.
It's no fun when you don't bring it, though. I can tell you from your perspective and talking, you have a hard time if you forget it. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
My hardest thing that I forgot this week was sunglasses on the Monday. That was the one thing I had the hard way. When we went out to the bush Monday morning, I learned that my stand looks directly into the sun, into the morning sun. So Monday morning for the first 2 hours of the day, I felt like it was saluting because I had it up over my head for 2 hours because I couldn't see 10 feet in front of me with how bright the sun was.
It was that bright that it was really?
I'm telling you, it was a learning curve. It come up over the trees and it was like a spotlight right in my eyes. And again, being in a new territory and not kind of in the bush or in the pines like I used to hunt, it was a whole new experience. So that was a bit of a learning curve for me.
And I mean, it was probably one of the first times that the sun's risen in the east, right?
Yeah. Who would have thought that facing your stand to the east, in an open area would present that kind of opportunity. So, yeah.
But I'm with you.
Monday started anyway. But getting into kind of the rest of the day, I guess throughout the day we all were, we chat on our Alliance chat and, what's everybody seeing. And it's exciting to see a new area. You get nervous. I was nervous, because I wasn't sure even with the camera photos how things would turn out and if we'd get any success. But sure enough, skip ahead to Monday evening, it got to the point where, it was that good time of day. It was, as Don said, it was weird because it was 5 o'clock, but in my mind, I kept thinking it was only 4 o'clock because our clocks hadn't gone back. And I had gone through all my photos from the previous couple of weeks prior to the hunt on my desk there and realized that usually around 5 o'clock, I was getting deer showing up. So I kind of was thinking, okay, this is the time, the appointment's set 5 o'clock. I'd like to see something. And honest to goodness, at 5:02, I had a really nice doe come walking out to me. And I'll be honest, I know Bill kind of said it, but we're a little bit more choosy than I think other camps might be.
Than we are.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say who, but we don't necessarily.
But I was thinking about this. Pause for 1 second, if I can tangent on you. So, because I thought about this long and hard, and I thought about it while I was so excited this year to go for the controlled hunt. Normally, I'm excited for bow hunting, and the controlled hunt is just like, okay. But this year, I didn't get to bow hunt. I haven't shot my bow a lot, and so if I did have an opportunity, I didn't really feel that comfy, so I didn't get out. But I've been busy, so I didn't get out anyway. Yada.
Talking off a little more of tea.
Thank you. So for the controlled hunt, I was super pumped this year, and I thought, what is the difference? Why am I so pumped? And I got thinking that bow hunting for me for the last bunch of years, it's work. It's starting to become more and more work. I got to make sure my stand's in the right spot, my scent stuff. I got to make sure I wash my clothes beforehand. I get them in a scent-free bin, and all this weighs on me, right? I got to make sure I got the spray. I got to make sure I got my shampoo, my scent-free shampoo, and my scent-free soap. Got to make sure I charge my Ozonics battery. I got to make sure everything's ready to rock, right? My Ozonics is in my pack. And then I get in the stand. I got to get up in the tree, and I got to get all that, my Ozonics on the tree and make sure everything's ready. My scent. Do I got my Tink 69? Have I got my little scent bottles? I got all that jazz. It's become so much work. And then I'm in there, and don't get me wrong. Like if you followed Redneck Country's Facebook page, I see a lot of deer. Like I usually see before the controlled hunt, I'll pass up 20 plus deer because I'm only going to shoot massive bucks with bow because we wait for the controlled hunt with Dad, where if it's brown, it's down, as long as it's not a fawn or a small deer, right? So why am I so, and I got thinking that bow it's so much work for no reward, I guess, because I'll have all kinds of deer come in and does, and some people think, oh, that's cool. And it is. But when it happens every time and there's nothing you can shoot and you're doing all this work, you're now chasing a monster buck. That becomes work. You're trying to get, and it gets frustrating because you go forever trying to get that monster buck into you while you still have a tag before the black powder season comes. And then I go, okay, now it's black. Oh, this is so exciting. And I've figured it out. It's because there's no pressure. I know that at any point in time, a deer can show up. At any point in time, a deer could just, boom, there it is. Like literally, you could be sitting there for 3 hours, so depressed going, there hasn't been a deer move. You look to your right, bam, in 50 yards, there's a buck standing there staring at you. But the beauty is, I know that if a deer shows up, 90% of the time, I'm going to shoot it. Because if it's brown,
can I ask you, can I dodge it on you and ask you a question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you pass on deer during the bow season that you would take during the black powder season?
Every deer. Every single deer, because in the black powder season, if it's brown, it's down. So absolutely, because in the bow, I'll film like six does under me at one time.
Well, except fawns and does with fawns, we let them walk in the black powder. But if it's a good sized doe or of a decent buck, it's down in the black powder because we're strictly out there to fill tags and fill the freezer.
Right. Yeah. So I guess my question is, if you're passing on a deer during the bow season that you have no reservations about taking during the black powder season, why wouldn't you take it during the bow season when you're already there and ready for it?
Perfect.
Because it's the same amount of meat in the freezer.
Because it limits the days you can be out in the controlled hunt with your family and friends.
Yeah. And
that is I'm by myself while I'm bow hunting. But in the controlled hunt, I'm with Dad, I'm with my brother-in-law, I'm with Scotty and Bill and Bob and Michael, and it's the camaraderie, and we're out there sharing it together. I don't have that when I bow hunt, right?
You can still hunt. We can all still hunt for the 6 deer because we share tags.
Yeah. So you take those tags away, then
if you use your tag early, then we're going out there with less tags, less time together, and if we shoot one then too, we've taken away an opportunity for them to even shoot one.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I was just curious to know what the logic
and Scotty said that, right? So we've bow hunted on the Sunday right before the black powder, and Scotty messages me and he says, I got an 8-point in front of me. I'm like, is it a big 8? No, it's not a big 8, but it's got a nice body. And we're bow hunting. He says, do I take it? And I'm like, well, I don't know. Like we got control hunt starting tomorrow. And he says to me, what's the difference if I shoot it today or I shoot it tomorrow?
Yeah, it's the same thing. And in that case too, it'd be the exact same thing.
And that's it, right?
That's kind of our thing when we bow hunt on the Sunday prior to the rifle hunt is, at that point, we're all still together anyway. And what's the difference between a day or two?
You're up there to hunt. So it's good to do it that way, right? But on the bow, mostly I'm by myself.
In comparison, though, we... for the Alliance and how we like to come into the camp with the tag too. I mean, we all bow hunt on our own prior to the hunt happening, and I wouldn't pass up a doe. If I'm with my wife or son, I'm hunting down here. I have their tag as opportunities to hunt with them, and but I do my best to make sure that I come into the hunt with a tag, and so does Jay, and so does my dad, and so does DJ, right? So that it's the same type of thing, so that we have an opportunity as a group, and we all apply for a doe tag up north, so that we all have that opportunity to hunt a doe together, as opposed to having that opportunity to hunt down here, and then maybe, not having as many deer hanging midweek that we would have if we had more doe tags. So
I'd also like to say on our camp, though, Bill, like obviously I don't know if we've ever tagged out, and that's by choice.
Last year.
No, we only got 3. Did we not have 4 today?
No, we had 4. We shot 4 last year.
Did we shoot 4 last year?
Yeah, I shot 2. You shot 1. Dad shot 1.
Okay, for some reason I thought we only got 3 last year, but yeah, I would say typically it's. But that's rare. I guess it's rare, that we would ever tag out, and in most cases, it's not due to lack of options. It's more by choice.
Yeah,
because we don't typically hunt brown and down. We're not taking. I would say, from my own perspective, in all honesty, I shoot antlers for the first 2 days I'm there of the rifle. Monday and Tuesday, I'm looking antlers. And I'm that doe that I was kind of talking about that came out to me Monday night. That was a large doe. No question. She probably was bigger than any of the deer we took throughout the week. But at that point, Monday, first day, I was willing to take the risk and let her go on the off chance that something else might come out or whatever the case may be.
I get it. I get that, right? Because I do that in the bow. I want a monster. But I just thought that's why I enjoy, and that's why this year I was so looking forward to the black powder, was because pressure's off, and I know if I see a deer, I'm going to shoot it, and I know I'm going to see a deer, so I know I'm going to get to shoot a deer. So it's like, hey,
at a deer.
I'm actually going to. Yeah. It's all pronouns, Bill.
With you, it's a verb.
Adverb, pronoun, shoot at a deer versus shoot a deer, whatever that little word is before that other word. But yeah, so I just thought of that. I was thinking, why so much? But that's it. Because I know if I see it, I get to shoot it. And that makes it so much fun. And new hunters.
Do you not think that you put all that stress on yourself, though?
I realize it now. Like, it's been gradual over the years, right? And getting that into it with the scent control, and getting that into it with where to place the stands and the hunting property, and then getting that into it with the ozonics. Like, that thing's a $500-600 device, right? Like, you're in at that point. And now that you're in, now you better use it. And find that big buck and make sure you're in front of them. And it just becomes, it's a lot of work chasing them monsters, right? So that's.
I guess the reason I'm asking is, and kind of getting back to what I was saying earlier, is like, I don't use any of that stuff. And I see deer every year, and there's, whether it's a
monsters,
medium-sized deer or large deer,
monsters.
I would say not monsters every year, but then again, if you go to all of the guys in the camp, I don't know if any of us really see monsters throughout the year at our camp. Maybe it's just our area.
Because they all need that. They all need to do their clothes in the scent wash and put them in a bin.
Well, Bill does all of that stuff. And I'm going to say you don't see monsters every year.
But that's my, like, I get that argument all the time too, right? Is Todd, why do you do all that when I don't do that? Or like, why do you pee in a bottle when I just pee out of my stand and I still see deer? And I'll see just as many deer, right? But how many monsters do you have on your wall? And why is it that you don't have those monsters on your wall? I don't know the answer. But it could be.
My mentality is different, though. In the end, the monster on the wall is going to taste just as good as the doe in the freezer.
But my bow is not for that. My bow is for the monsters. It's not for the taste in the freezer.
Sure.
And so that's it. So that's why I do all that, is because that monster.
And to give every opportunity to. That's why I go through the I know that you'll wear, which makes me laugh. You go into the wood stove with the same clothes as you got on. As soon as I go into the camp, my clothes are off, and I got my camp clothes on, even if it's just for an hour. Then I'll go back in my room, change into my camp or my hunting clothes, and it's just to give me that every opportunity that I can. Because if that big guy walks out and he's downwind of me, the chances of him smelling me with doing all that stuff are less than if it wasn't if I wasn't doing all that stuff. That's my mentality.
Right.
And
I agree. I understand it. I guess I'm not that intense,
which is fine, because let me tell you, I enjoyed bow hunting a lot more when I just started it 20 years ago.
Sure, and I feel the same.
Right, because I was going to shoot
straight down, and I'm comfy, I'm happy, and I'm not worried about all the things I got to bring with me. What did I forget? Put this $600 machine on a tree. All of these things. I don't worry about any of that stuff. I go out and I just whatever happens, and
it is more enjoyable. But if I did that bow hunting, my brain the whole time would be, I should have washed my clothes. I should have. So I built this exact. I got no options. I got to do it bow hunting now because I want the monster. And if I'm in the tree, I just feel disheveled if I haven't done all that because I think I'm wasting my time because I didn't do all that. So I'm at the point of no return. And Bill, you're probably there with me. I have no options but to do it all now because I've done the homework and everything like that to go. Monsters will detect you if you haven't done everything you can. And so if I'm in the tree waiting for it, the only time I'm going to get that monster is if it's rutting hard and he does not care because there's a doe walking right by me that's massively in heat. Then it's everything off. Like I've driven up and had a doe in front of my truck on the road, and I've got out of the car and a buck, we got her cornered, and they just stand there, and the buck's trying to get closer and does not care. I walk right up to the front of my truck. I am 5 feet from the doe, and the buck and the doe don't even care I'm there. She's just trying to get away from him, and he's got her cornered against my truck. So when they're that fired up, okay, you're good. And that's the only other option. So I don't want that mindset when I'm in the tree that, I didn't do my clothes and it's anxiety. But back when I didn't even think about it, oh my gosh, it was more enjoyable. And so black powder for me, it's more enjoyable. I still do all that scent stuff in black powder, but I know if I see a deer, I'm going to get to shoot a deer. I'm going to get to shoot a deer.
It's a long todging getting away from the story.
Your brother dragged it on. Your brother egged me on.
The other thing, if I can get a word in edgewise here, is that
if you woke up, hey, welcome to the conversation.
I've shot a deer with my bow, and I don't bow hunt anymore because of the unavailability of tags. Like we did not get bow tags this year, and so we had one tag. So that was black powder, and they got filled. My son-in-law, he does never, even if he gets a bow tag, he doesn't hunt bow before black powder. Then, after we see the availability of tags, then he'll hunt bow. And for me, I haven't hunted bow forever because, to me, when they cut back on the tags, they cut my bow out of the mix.
Even in that nice, beautiful
Taj Mahal
structure you put up there,
new Taj Mahal. Yeah.
you can hunt out of that bow hunt.
Oh sure, I don't have a tag.
Yeah, that's right. You guys you're done.
Now,
I got one left. I got a bow tag.
Yeah, Todd was able to get one. I wasn't. I think there was one other tag in our group that was able to get one, but nobody else was. So with that said, we used, like, the bow tags are left because they were not for black powder. They were bow only seasons. But there's a bunch of us that didn't get them, so our only opportunity was black powder. And to me, that's fun. But when they were given more tags, I was out once in a while hunting bow. Not as much as Todd, but I was out hunting. And I would have took a nice doe with my bow.
Oh, guaranteed. Yeah. Dad would shoot anything.
Yeah.
But so you passed up on that doe. Yeah.
Well, and again, we and at our camp we kind of say, hey, let's see how things work out. Everybody has own options. We technically have group tags, and they're all available at any point in time. We all know that. But we kind of said this year, we've all pretty much got doe tags this year, so we kind of hunt our own tag, make your own choice, and see what happens from there. And I chose to pass on that doe. She was eating the apples, I think it was about 82 yards.
And
roughly.
You let her eat the apples? That's worth getting shot for right there. She's taken away from some big buck.
But here's my mindset. If she's there eating, maybe she draws something in, live decoy.
You're right. And especially if she's hot.
Yeah, that's kind of my mentality. And we had seen a couple of, scrapes just fresh, not that far from where I was hunting. So, my mindset was, well, maybe there's something else around, and it's, opening day. There's lots of week left, and I'm going to wait and see. So she hung around for a couple of minutes and then she left. And if I remember correctly, our legal shoot time was roughly 20 after 6. So I knew I had about an hour and change left by the time she left. And again, funny enough with the cameras, I knew that the second appointment of deer was about 5:45. And, I'd had multiple deer showing up throughout the week on multiple occasions in around 5:45. So when she left, I again got to be about 5:40 and, kind of goofing, said to myself, well, next appointment's coming up. Are you ready? And honest to goodness, within 5 minutes of that, to 5:45, and I had a buck walk out from the right, coming off a property that is not ours, but crossed into ours, and walked right to the apples. And I pulled the gun up and had a look. I thought it was the spiker, and I saw a few more than 2. So I kind of made the decision to, I'll see, gauge the size, and it was to me what I would deem to be an average sized deer. Nothing monstrous, nothing too small, but kind of average. And,
see, that's where you and I differ. Every deer I shoot, it's huge.
Yeah.
Forget rack aside, the bodies. Man, that was a giant doe.
Sure. Well, and so I had the gun up, and I put the gun down. I took it down. I kept kind of arguing with myself whether or not I was going to wait. Again, opening day.
Hesitate too long, Jay. Hesitate too long. No. That decision will be made for you.
Yeah. Well, it walked away to where I couldn't shoot anymore, but I could still see it. And I kind of said, you know what? If it comes back, I'm going to hit. And instantly it turned around, walked broadside, put its head down to eat an apple, walked right out. And I didn't hesitate, just kabang. And that deer, as Bill will tell you, and from all the years when I hunt, almost every deer I shoot runs a mile and goes down in the swamps, and doesn't matter how well I hit it, doesn't matter. I'm getting pretty notorious for shooting the heart out of the deers, and they still seem to run longer and down into the swamp. Did a somersault, went 10 feet, dropped right where I could see it.
Oh,
they bucked down. I think I got a "do you need help?" and for the first time in a long time, good, it's here. Before I could do anything, I was able to send them a photo, because I didn't even have to drag it. We didn't have to do anything. It was a very successful first hunt in a new territory. I was pretty excited about that. It was it was a 5 point. Again, not a monster deer.
Was it? Or was it? It was 5.
5 and a bit.
5.5.
5 and a quarter. You guys always got to argue over points.
Well, you've got to get every point you can get out of these deer, and I called it 5 and a quarter because I could almost hang a keychain on it, so that counts as almost.
And this is why we don't go by inches. Inches are so absolute, but when you go by points, you can have a good old-fashioned argument and really get the blood flowing, and that's what we're all about. Making sure you're still alive.
That's the best part of it is fighting. Is that a point? Is that not a point? Is this one, 6 points and yours is only a 5 this year?
Well, it's got to be an inch. No. We don't deal in inches. Is that a point? I like it.
So it was pretty successful for me Monday night. We went back and did what we would normally do with the deer, getting it all prepped and everything else. And
okay, so hold on. So you drop this deer, somersaults, drops on the spot. Yeah. And 10 yards away, whatever. But Bill, when that shot went off, Bill, were you thinking, oh crap, that was my brother, we know we're going to have to go track this frickin' thing for a mile?
Well, there was a little bit hesitation there, but until when I heard the shot, I thought, because there's a swamp right behind him. Even in his new spot, I'm like, there's no chance that deer is not in the swamp. And when I heard buck down or read buck down on the messenger, I thought, perfect. And I started packing it right away. As soon as that shot went off, it was close enough that, I knew it was either Jay or TJ that were shooting. And TJ wasn't given any indication there was bucks around him or deer around him. So for sure it was my brother. And yeah, there was a little bit of a thought that, did it go in the swamp? But sure enough, when that picture came in and it was laying right out in front of the stand there, I thought, bonus, no dragging necessary. I'm going to get dirty anyways, because I don't mind help them gut deer and stuff. But it was no tracking job needed.
Tell you what, that's like Dad. Dad hunts this new stand, and I mean, it's 50, 60 yards from his old stand, which is right above a ravine, which we call the Hog's Back. And it does. If Dad pulls the trigger, we know it's ran down that Hog's Back, and it's honestly 100 yards minimum straight down. Like, you can't climb this thing without a rope. This year, my brother-in-law put a rope down it so that he could get out of it by climbing up on the rope. And I know every time I hear Dad's gun go off, I know I'm going down the bottom of this Hog's Back.
You're dragging deer.
I gotta drag it, and then we got to get the 4-wheeler. And luckily now we have the 4-wheeler. Like, it'd be a full day to get a deer up that ravine, but now we got the 4-wheeler. Throw the rope down, but you still got to get it to the bottom of the very bottom of the ravine, right where the 4-wheeler rope can reach, hooked onto the winch, and then got to get it up that hill. But Dad's the same way. Same way. Okay, so now you got it down. You go grab it. You got it in the field.
We don't gut it right on the spot. We tend to take it back to a little area that we tend to gut our deer.
So Jay, you don't do the scent control and all that, but you won't gut a deer where it lies.
It typically, no. To be honest with you, that's the one thing we used to gut it in the.
We used to do that all the time.
But all the time, and I'm indifferent to it one way or the other. To be honest with you, but it's a little easier doing it back at the camp when you can. Everybody there, if they want to participate, we've got, lights and there's water source.
All that stuff. We typically would do the deer in a spot close to the pond. We got a pretty big, just a beaver pond that's there. But this year, to tell a story a little bit different, where my mom, she was at camp for a lot of the week this week, helping out with food and do meal preps and stuff. Like, we would bring up our own meals, but she would start them, put them in the oven or whatever, get them started. So when the shot went off, and my mom, she came out onto the patio in the sun porch there, covered in porch, and spooked a deer right in the spot where we would typically gut deer.
Gut the deer.
Yeah, it was probably, it was in the picture. You remember where my brother shot the turkey last year from the video?
In his jammies.
Right there, in his jammies, right there is pretty much where we got the deer. And my dad was so confident that he was going to have himself a camp stand close enough to the outhouse, close enough to the camp. So he didn't want us to necessarily gut the deer right where that deer was coming out of. So we picked a new spot this year so he could have his camp stand where he wouldn't have to go so far.
I will say we got the deer typically on the spot. Now, I'm more cautious because of two reasons. A, coyotes coming to that gut pile, and who cares? Okay, so a coyote comes and eats it through the night. My theory is that coyote's going to come eat that. It's going to scare deer. It's going to chase them away at some point. The deer see the coyote, they're gone. So again, limits your ability to see them. But number two, I always thought, that blood being around, and this year proved it. On opening day after I shot my buck and it ran and died, and a doe came through after the next day, which we haven't got to Tuesday yet, but I'm going to spoiler alert. The next day, a doe comes walking through, and right where that deer died, and then I dragged it down to the creek. So I had to drag it a good, 80 yards down to the creek. I took the deer run, my mistake, but I dragged that buck right down the deer run towards the creek. The doe came walking from the other way. As soon as it caught where that deer died, boom, it stopped, and it wasn't in range for me to shoot it yet. I could see it, and it just stopped dead. Boom. And stuck its nose way out, and it could smell where that buck died, and it was sniffing. It turned around and jogged away on an angle, kind of. And I did take a crack at it because why not? I've missed it, but it turned around and jogged the other way.
Your dad's buying the ammunition. Why not take a crack at it?
Bill, we split on that.
That's the way the week went.
But it did. It came down. Now, was it my scent on my boots where I went and grabbed that buck and dragged it, or was it the buck's scent where
tarsal glands maybe laying there
from the blood? The blood, I don't know. I don't know, but it did not like it. Too.
I don't like the thought of putting a gut pile right where I'm going to hunt. I just don't. I mean, for all those reasons why you said there, I mean, it's a little bit different for us being able to bring that deer back to the camp because we're not in a residential area where the neighbors are going to get upset with us gutting a deer in our front yard. So I understand why you don't do it like that. But we've done it in my garage. Scotty's done that. We brought it home full, hung it, and then put a bucket under it, and that's how Scotty used to always do it. But I just find that's a lot of frickin'. Now we're lifting 200 plus 250 pounds into the back of the truck versus 150, 175 pounds back in the back of the truck, right? But to get rid of those guts, they weigh a lot. Well, I mean, for us, we have the Deer Uber service that comes out. Duber? That comes, yeah, it's a good Duber. Yeah, Duber. That's good.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I just came up with that. I've coined it and trademarked it. If the Alliance wants to use it, well, we'll talk royalties. But carry on.
All right, good deal. We'll get merchandise. So the Duber it came out. My mom's on the back. My dad is on the front of the ATV, and with the deer cart. And we all go out there, and the pictures my mom took, I would have thought that deer was shot at noon. They turned out really nice with the lighting on her camera and stuff. Oh, no doubt. It opened up shutter and grabbed a lot of light and right on. Yeah, she did whatever, and we were able to put that deer in the trailer and take it back to the camp, and like Jay said, get changed and get cleaned and hang it up and enjoy a drink and a celebration right there. So, right on. So it was a successful Monday.
It was a very successful Monday. We were all pretty excited, and I think all of deer Monday except for Dad. Maybe I don't know. I can't remember if he saw one or not, but I know TJ had that big boy first thing in the morning, before legal shoot that he was watching there, but. Yeah, that was a little bit of a tragedy right there. He was, I had that situation on Sunday where I told the story about the Tink 69 and the drag line. I told that around the dinner table on, or the breakfast table. It doesn't matter. Before I guess it was the dinner table at night, because what happened was he took my lead, and on Monday morning going into his spot, he had one of those Tink 69 spray cans, which was like an aerosol based thing. Well, you just let it go, right? Like a buck bomb. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So he sprayed it, walked. And he got up into his stand like we all do for opening day, like an hour before legal shooting time. And he was in the stand, and he had apples out in front of the stand. And this is a significant time before legal shooting time. He's like, oh, let me pick up my binoculars and just see if, and this is like 5 minutes after he gets in the stand, let me pick up my binoculars and see if those apples I put out yesterday were gone. And he's scanning, trying to look for and all of a sudden he says, holy smokes, that's a deer. And that deer was the biggest 8-point that we saw all week. And it was 45 minutes or whatever it was at this point in time before legal shooting time. And he couldn't do a thing about it. All he could do was look at it in the binos, check his watch, look at his binos, check his watch. Doesn't that suck? And there was nothing he could do. And that buck was so smart that it was a good half an hour before legal shooting time, and it just walked away. It was gone. He couldn't see it. He was able to see it good enough through the binos that he knew it was a buck. He looked at the rack. He watched him eat his apples, because the binos he has are pretty good. They're able to gather light and stuff. And everybody knows that when you can see them through the binos, you can't necessarily see them with your naked eye at that time of day. And scopes and that pickup light for sure. Yeah, he just had to let it walk away. See, and that's funny. The biggest deer we saw, the biggest buck we saw, we were driving in down the road, and we were right parallel to my stand. In fact, if I was going to hunt my stand by myself, it's where I would have parked. There's a little roadway into the cornfield, and this buck's standing on the roadway of the cornfield right there at 5 a.m. Was it 5 a.m? 6 a.m? I guess it was legal shooting was 7:30, so it would have been 6 a.m. We drove by, and I said,
there was a buck, and Dad driving, he didn't see it. I said, there's a buck standing right there. And Michael goes, I seen it. Michael's in the back seat. I said to Dad, stop. So Dad stopped. Why? And I said, because you got to scare it. It's going to cross the road. You need to put it back towards my stand. Back up. Yeah. So here's Dad throwing it in reverse, backing up to chase it back to our side of the road, keep it on our side. So it didn't cross the road and go the other way, because that's where it was headed. So, but never seen it again. But yeah, that was an 8-point. That was the biggest one we saw, and it was at 6 a.m, hour and a half before legal.
Nocturnal, heading to its bed.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what we were thinking too. I mean, it was out for a little snack before, and we were trying to find, cutoff points. And actually, the sad part about that deer is it was in Candace's Corners. So Candace's Corners was a spot where my wife shot her first deer, and we dubbed it Candace's Corners. It's a block of pines, which is similar to what Jay hunted up till this year in the property behind us where we had lost permission to hunt. And I know for sure that deer was going kitty corner to where TJ's stand was, had the apples, and was going back into Candace's Corners somehow, some way. And if it was going to on an angle, and there's a million what if scenarios, but TJ's stand last year was in Candace's Corners, and that deer would have probably been there closer to legal shooting time than it was when he was looking at it through the binos. But it just stepped onto the property we couldn't hunt, and out of respect for everybody involved, I mean, we're not going chasing and somewhere where we can't be, and just had to let it go.
I don't know about deer hunting, but I've said it enough on the podcast. But hey, a gobble's worth a trespassing charge.
Yeah, we'll leave that with you. I got bail money in my sock. I'll bail you out.
Yeah, that's all I'll say about that.
Mm-hmm.
So we both had pretty good Mondays then, Jay. I don't know about the rest of these guys, but you and I can. Yeah,
we made it happen, right? That's what it's all about.
I agree. Totally agree. I took way too many shots than I needed to get one deer, but I've still got a deer. I was happy with it.
Doesn't surprise me.
I just don't hesitate anymore. I've just had enough.
I gotta say, I've gotten better over the years. I only had to take one shot this year, but I think last week you guys were talking about running out of ammo, and I know for a fact it was one year that I did run out of ammo.
Did you really? You've ran out of ammo?
Oh, sure you did. 100%.
So I'll be honest. I only brought 9.
What's it?
Yeah. Sorry, Jay. We lost you there, buddy.
You get me again?
Yep. You're good now.
Yeah. Sorry about that. No, I was just saying that a couple of years ago, I'd only brought 9 shells. That's all that was left in my box. And I thought, well, I'm never going to take 9 shots.
Yeah, you only got one tag.
2 or 3. Well, exactly. Well, I only usually take 2 or 3 at the beginning of the week, like Bill said, to sight the gun and take the oils out. And so I thought, okay, I'll still have 6 left over. And sure enough, I had deer just running around me. And if you've never shot at a running deer before, I find that's the absolute hardest shot to ever take. And I shoot a semi, and I was emptying clips. And I had to actually go get another box of shells that year. It was a very frustrating year. It got to the point where I had to go back to the shooting range and see if it was the gun. And I found out, no, it was just me. I was just...
Yeah, it was 100%. And that was the funniest part about that was I was sitting in a spot pretty close to him, and I hear boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, what are you shooting at? Oh, nothing, I missed. And then he says, he's like, I've got 2 more shells. If I miss, I'm done hunting. And sure enough, like 45 minutes later, boom, boom.
They were just running all around me, and I've never had that happen before.
I never touched a hair on any of them.
Not a thing. I was shooting trees and leaves and pretty much everything but the deer that were running.
That's awesome. See, this year, I don't think we've ever worried about ammo before. This year was the only year, and we had lots of bullets, lots of powder, and we got it. We got good deals on such. But the thing was, I quit reloading shotgun shells for trap sporting clays and that, because it doesn't make any sense anymore. You might as well just buy flats, right? So primers. And before I put all my reloading stuff away, I thought I'm going to load up everything into shells so that it's done, and I'm not putting away powder, and I'm not putting like that. That's money. I'm not putting away shot. I'm not putting away primers. I'm using it all, as many shells as I can make, and then I'm only putting away my actual reloading equipment, right? No supplies. So I reloaded everything. Well, now it comes time that, okay, we went and a local store, unfortunately, went out of business through the COVID times here, and a buddy of mine is selling all the stuff for them just at cost so they can get their inventory money back. So we went and bought a whole whack load of bullets and got everything for that. So we had lots of powder, had lots of bullets, but 209 primers. Normally don't even think about it, because when you're a reloader for trapping that, you buy them by the thousands.
Yep, I buy them 1,000 at a time.
Yeah, $33 for 1,000. You don't even think about it. And you always got them, right? You got sleeves. You got 10 sleeves, 1,000, like, because there's 100 in a sleeve. Yeah, I don't even think about it. Well, this year we go out and sight it in, and we all heard the story how many times I had to sight it in, blah, blah, blah. So we gone through primers. Well, now it comes to opening, and I'm like, oh crap, we got enough. Like, have we got enough primers? And I ain't kidding you, Jay. After day one, I was scrambling through the house to get primers, and so Dad's like, well, I still got like 20 of them. Well, give me 10, because after day one, I'm gonna maybe need that. So I was worried, and now
you needed to take half your dad's supply because you were worried.
I see deer
running out of primers.
I see deer, and if I see deer, I shoot at deer. 150 yards. Let's give it a go.
There was a key word there. He was scrounging through the house. There's never any one place where you'll find primers.
Primers are little.
I knew right where to go for my primers, and knew right.
I know exactly where my primers are.
Exactly. Well, he's looking in drawers. He's looking in little,
but I've dropped,
little containers.
So if you've ever reloaded, you've probably dropped primers on the floor around your reloading bench or whatever, and you try to pick as many of them up as you can, but maybe you lose some. So I maybe moving a giant TV in my basement, slides over a primer and gives you a freaking heart attack, right? When that thing goes off because the TV stand popped it. So holy jeez, what was that? And it was a primer got underneath the cabinet as I was sliding it. So there could be some laying down around there. So
you're unbelievable.
Where was it?
So you're going underneath cabinets.
I'm scrounging. I got more to this story, but Dad's tapping me. Yes,
this isn't loose change here.
Oh, it is.
I want you to tell us where you went to look for the last group of primers you found just this week.
This week. So that was where I was going. So now it's time for the second week, the second controlled hunt in our area, right?
Which is like ours closed. That we can only hunt one of the weeks, and that wasn't explained last time. We can only pick one of the 3 weeks in this area, so you can hunt more than 1 week. We picked the first one. It closes a week of bow. Now the second week is open.
So that's right now, the second week. So Jen's cousin happens to message me last week, and he's like, hey, Todd, I've gone to every store that I possibly can everywhere, and I can't find primers. You don't happen to have any primers, do you? I said, you know what? Normally, I got thousands, but I was worried last week for my week of deer. I said, you know what, though? Give me a minute. I'm going to go scrounge through the house. So I went down, and I actually happened to find, it's sitting right beside you, Dad, because I kept 20, but I happened to find a canister or 10, I think, a canister, like a little film container with 20 primers in it.
Where was it?
It was downstairs by the ping pong table.
Where you reload?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when he says scrounge, you never know where you're going to find them or what they're going to be in. They're not in a primer box. They're in a little film canister container.
Because it was all I had left of.
And
I knew I thought I had
sitting there for years.
Possibly, because I think some are CCIs. They're a really different color, but they still
haven't
go
made
bang.
35 millimeter film in forever, so that tells me a long story too. So
his easy way of looking is, Dad, you got primers? Yeah, I got 20. Good, give me 10. That's it.
Yeah.
Because you probably got those 20
in your area.
He probably got the 20 from me originally. So anyway, I was able to scrounge, and I said, Dave, I think I gave him 20. And I said, I kept some for myself just in case next year we're into issues. I still got another year I can hunt. I said, but if you need them before the week's over, if you need more than 20, I mean, I got no words. But I mean, hey, it could happen. So, and he said, no, dude, I appreciate it. So he actually left me a Tim Hortons gift card, a $10 Tim Hortons gift card for them in the mailbox. And I'm like, dude, you realize that like I gave you like 60 cents. Like, come on. But he's like, Todd, these are gold right now. You can't find them anywhere. I'm just appreciative you gave them to me.
Listen to this, Bill and Jay.
That's them.
You hear that?
That's primers.
It's a little plastic container, and yep, it's got gold and silver primers in it.
All different ones.
And it's sitting right here next to his laptop on the right with his 4 computer screens all strung out. And I will say probably next November, it will still be sitting
I know
there,
where it is.
Unless it's got knocked on the floor and now it's under the TV or something.
I know where it is, but they're all in there because they're probably
going to have to go back to this podcast and listen to it. Oh, yeah. That's where
somebody remind me that next year controlled hunt. But so they're all, see, that just proved it. They're all different colors. So that's why I wouldn't use them in trap because I didn't know, okay, what primer is that? I don't want to put it in this load without knowing, is it a Winchester? Is it a CCI? Is it a Federal? So, but when you're talking black powder, who cares?
The first time this year, I had a primer in after I fired that I could not get out. I was usually just my fingernails and I pry it out if it's stiff a little bit, but this one would not.
Oh, it was insane. I was there. I was trying to get it out. Couldn't get it out.
I had my knife and I curved the edges all up all the way around and I'm wiggling and jiggling.
The primer lip bent all up like a flower. It was stuck in there that far that that lip bent
and
up.
I got that up and I got it. It started to come out by a look of it, and I thought I'm going to have to drive home and get a pair of pliers to stick on and pull this out. But in the course of talking over the phone with other people and not wanting to mess up texting other people and not wanting to mess up the area, I kept working at it with my knife, and I finally got it so it moved up a little bit and got it out. But it took me over 20 minutes. And I've never had that happen before. Ever. So I don't know whether it was one of the old CCI primers or what. I don't know.
Well, I think we finally got through Monday.
That's Monday. Wow. We've got lots of material. We're rocking and rolling through to the new year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we got another couple of podcasts worth of material here. But yeah.
And I got some wild Todd stories for you on Tuesday.
What do you got wild Todd stories for you?
You let me tell them.
Good grief. Just because I like to pull the trigger.
Tuesday, did I sit in your stand, Jay?
I was just going to say, was it Tuesday that you had to do something a little bit out of the norm?
Yeah, it was a day. I don't know. It was Tuesday.
I think it was Wednesday.
I can go back in my text messages and tell you. I think it was Wednesday too.
I think it was Wednesday.
I wrote my stuff down to keep the days straight, and I got it straight, and I keep it in my wallet.
Of course he does.
Right here.
We'll have to get to that in another podcast there, but
yep.
Right on.
Good chat.
Yeah, appreciate you coming on, Jay.
Thanks for having me, as always. I appreciate it. It's fun telling stories and talking to you guys like usual. It's great.
Agreed. Ditto. The feeling's mutual.
Jay. Be in touch.
Thanks, Don.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I'm going to take off. Thanks again.
Thanks,
Take care.
Bill.
Take care, Bill.
Take care, Jay.
Talk to you.
And that'll do it for this week, folks. For the Redneck Country Podcast, I'm Bill, the Almost Guy Tom.
And I'm Todd. Thanks for listening. And folks, if you want to be part of the podcast or you want to give us some feedback or really contact us about anything, feel free to email us at podcast@theredneckcountry.com. Again, that's podcast@theredneckcountry.com. Thanks for listening. Talk to you again next week.